This handout is going through the process of calculating gross domestic product. Um, it gives you the formula at the top. Gross domestic product is your consumer spending, your business investment, and that includes any inventory they have, government purchases of goods and services, and then we are going to take our exports, which is what we produce in the United States and ship overseas, and we're going to have to subtract out our imports. So what we are looking at here is an indicator of the economic growth or actually the decline in our economy. So we're seeing how productive um, we are in the United States in any given year. So um, all you're going to do is take your C plus I plus G and then your X minus your M. And so the easiest way to do that is just to add up these first four columns, and when you get that, then you have to subtract out your imports, because what this is showing is this is money that was spent here in the United States, but it was money that was spent on things that came from another country. And so if we are looking at how productive we are, we did not produce any of these products. They were purchased here in the United States. And it looks like if we just do all the dollar amounts, that is, something that we bought here, but we have to make sure that we pull that back out and subtract that because we didn't produce it here. So you're just going to take your consumer spending and consumption, your domestic investment, this is your business investment, your government purchases, then we're going to add our exports because we didn't buy them here. Nobody in the United States bought those, but we exported those, so people in other countries. So we did produce them even though they weren't bought here. So that's what we're looking at once again, is the productivity of Americans. And so we have to count that. This is stuff we bought here but we didn't produce, so we have to back that out. So this plus this plus this plus this, then we're going to subtract this out, and 8,300.8. And that was for 1997. Now what we're going to do is look and see how productive we were for 1998. This was personal consumption in the United States, business investment, government purchases, what we exported and was purchased in other countries, and then once again we're going to subtract out this amount of what we purchased here but we did not make. So 8,759.9 and in 1999, same thing. Consumer spending, business investment, government purchases, what other people bought in other countries but we produced here, subtracting out what we bought here but was produced in another country. So 56.2. Then a couple questions at the bottom. Move this really quick. Which year showed the greatest increase in GDP? And you can do the comparison here, and we can see that 1999 had the biggest increase from one year to the next. And then it says which two GDP components typically account for the largest part of GDP, and that's pretty clear. Personal consumption is huge. So once again, well, actually not once again, I don't think we've talked about it yet, but if people aren't spending money in the United States, if consumer spending is down, that accounts for a huge percentage of spending in the United States. And if consumers aren't spending, that means businesses can't invest because they don't have a reason to invest. And so if these two aren't working, the government is considered the buyer or the spender of last resort. So when you see the government get involved and start trying to decrease taxes or increase spending, a lot of times that is to try and jumpstart these two, get money back into the hands of people so that they will start buying, so that businesses can start investing. So when we look at the largest component, it really is, and it's close between these two, but as a rule of thumb, obviously consumer spending is the biggest, and then government purchases is usually the second, followed by business investment. And what is true of net exports? If we took our exports and subtracted our imports from that, what you are going to see is that's going to be a negative number. We import a lot more than what we export. And so that's why if we actually took that and subtracted that, we would get a negative number for that. So our net exports in the United States, because we have a trade deficit, we import far more than what we export.